So, you know how I always say in my videos, this is my favorite thing to talk about and this is my favorite thing to look at. Today, I'm going to talk about something not my favorite, but it's very profound and helpful when I'm called into situations in families, businesses, organizations to look at why there's conflict and disharmony. And this is a piece I come up against every bloody time. And I look forward to the day I can make a video and say, hey, I didn't find it. Now, why is there so much conflict between women and why patriarchal structures work in our world today? One of the things I clock into when I'm called into a situation, whether I'm in theater, whether I'm business coaching or counseling somebody or in a family situation, every time I'm asked to come in, this is the first thing I look at. Whoever this person is, man or woman, do they inherently respect women? You're going to be like, what? Of course you would respect women. What do you mean? That's not what I mean. It's a much deeper thing. The patriarchal narrative is not gender based. Bell Hooks, the fabulous writer, said patriarchy has no gender. Where patriarchy comes in a simple way in India is like the family cow. A lot of my Western clients don't understand, but I know you will when I say it. On one hand, we worship the cow because she gives us milk, ghee, cream, paneer, dahi. We get so much from her. But we also treat women like the family cow. This is a recurring thing across our legal system. Our laws are based like marital rape is not a law in India because she's the family cow. She has to give you whatever she can till you get tired of her. And then once she's old and gray, you send her to the butcher for beef. That's precisely how patriarchy works. And a lot of people think, no, I respect women, I hire women, I'm a woman, how can I not be nice to other women? The fact is, they aren't. When I look at family structures or businesses or organizations, what I see constantly is women tearing down other women. And the methods they use are the same since forever. Discredit her, question her mental capacity, that she's insane, she's emotionally dysregulated, then she's sexually promiscuous. Let's question who she's sleeping with, discredit her. And a long time ago, I had written an article about Indian soaps. They're called Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi serials. And the creators had nice laugh. They made a lot of money. But when I look at that entire consciousness, and the creators said in one of their articles, listen, this is what happens in the world, and people love watching it because it's true. And there is truth in that, that smart women have learned to weaponize structures of control, masters care and concern. I'm very concerned about you, but I think you're certifiable and we should put you in an asylum and take away all your money and property. There's performative generosity. There is a curated image of, yes, we're one happy family, we're one happy organization, we really support our women, but then you squeeze them like the family cow and try to get as much as you can out of them. I see this in organizations across the board. You sign someone up to do a job, but then you pile them up with 15 other things. The guys of, no, you can do it. You put your muscle behind it. You can absolutely do it. That's exploiting someone's gifts, someone's abilities without giving them the right reward is a patriarchal structure. One of the things I find most distressing when I see these dowry cases, the Twisha Sharma case is such a precise example of how this works. I remember when I first saw some videos of the mother-in-law, Gir Bilasan, saying this judge, she was talking about how she's very concerned about watering her plants. Her plants hadn't been watered. There were images of her feeding stray dogs and concern about Trisha's mental health. At no point there seemed any remorse or concern about the seriousness of what had happened. A woman had died. A woman married to your son has died under your care. You're a judge. You're supposed to uphold the law of the country. But her optics were stray dogs, plants, and concern. She was controlling the optics. She was trying to control the narrative. Later on, when those facts started coming up, her uncle said that the night of the wedding ceremony, they insisted on 2 lakhs because the decorations and the arrangements were not up to par. So they had to be compensated. And then the case, it just keeps getting worse. They didn't call the parents. She called 46 other people before family to say, listen, your child has died. When I listened to all this discrediting that the woman has said about Twisha, that she was this, she wasn't that, and I was like, you're a judge. You were trained to find out the truth. Your son is a lawyer. Didn't you do a background check? And instead of being grateful that someone's daughter, a goddess in form, was coming to your house, you milked her, you exploited her, you damaged her. And I have my own version of thoughts about her parents, that instead of just coming and collecting her and letting her come home, they played into this patriarchal nonsense that a woman, only way a woman's worth is, the significance of a woman is when she's married and accepted in a family like this. Are you out of your mind? And this is the thing that makes me really angry because 2026, I look at the opportunities we have. I can make this video and you're listening to me. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, and we can become whoever we believe we are. We are still fighting this bullshit story of having to earn our worth, earn our place in the world, and we're looking for belonging in structures where belonging is qualified, it's questioned. A woman in this part of the world doesn't get her worth just by being a woman. She has to earn her worth. She has to justify who she is. She has to be pure and clean, perfect. So if she had mental challenges, that's a problem. She had sexual preferences, that's a problem. Her family had to pay for her to be accepted in this other family. So you may think, oh, this is regressive, this doesn't apply to me, but it does. The next time you find yourself in an organization, work meeting, a family argument, a conversation with your partner's family, look at how many times you're having to prove your worth, why your truth is not accepted like a man. If a man says this, it goes. Look at what's happening in the world around us. Look at this Epstein scandal. Look at the role of Ghislaine Maxwell. Look at all these structures when they talk about children stolen, sex trafficking. Look at how many times women are part of it. And again, I'm not holding this point to women. I'm saying there is a structure that surrounds this. There's a patriarchal structure that feeds and rewards women for being horrible, ghastly, murderous, treacherous, abusive to other women. So the next time you're in a conversation like that, you might say, oh, Divya, this is, come on, this is too far out. It isn't. That is the bigger scale. You're seeing that at a mass scale. The Epstein scandal is huge. But the Girabala scandal is one woman being like this. But think about it. Look at your own family structure. Tell me one family line from your mother's to your father's to your wife's or your husband's line. Is there one family you can say that doesn't have this patriarchal structure running through it, where women to assert themselves and have had sometimes to pay with their life, to pay with their inheritance, giving up what they've created, have to give up children in their need to belong? And I want you to pay attention the next time you are in the middle of a conversation, on the side of a conversation, listening to this stuff. Also, notice how many times you find yourself having to negotiate your worth, your reasons to exist, your unconditional right to exist, to be respected and seen and heard as much as a man is. Unconditionally, in respect of what you look like, what your background is, what you have had to do by being you. Where have you had to prove your worth? You're in patriarchal structures when you do that. So just like your phone gets a software update, it's time to update the system that's running your show, internally as well as externally, in your workplace, in family, partnership with your children. As always, I'm interested in what you find.